Esha devo Vishwakarma Mahatma Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now, as far as the Shanti Mantra is concerned, this Sahana Vavatu, all these Shanti Pathas, they are extremely important. They are all self-addressed prayer. That is, it is not praying to somebody else. Even if it is prayed to somebody else, to the truth, the purpose of any prayer is self-addressed. That is, while praying, if we pray sincerely, whatever we are uttering during the prayer, if we are sincere about it, then it will change our own mind, intelligence, personality, everything. That is the prayer. So, that bhava, emotional association with the mantras is very important. When we are saying that Sahana Avatu, Saha now Avatu, Saha now Bhunaktu, we are saying that may we too be protected, may we too be nourished. Now, when we are saying may we too means we are referring to the teacher and the student. Why? Is it a selfish prayer? No. Because the importance of the lineage, importance of the teacher and the student relationship is extremely important in this subjective field of knowledge. Because we are getting this knowledge from how many thousands of years, we don't know. It is coming down to us through the lineage of Guru-shishya parampara, the lineage of Guru and the teacher and the student. So if the teacher and the student are protected, then this knowledge lives in this society, in this world. And the knowledge, to preserve the knowledge is extremely important, because if it goes from the society, then the society will get distracted from its auspicious path, finally resulting into destruction. So, giving the importance of Brahma Vidya for the sustenance of the society, to keep the society on the auspicious track forever, this importance of the Guru-shishya relationship comes. And without a proper Guru-shishya relationship, this knowledge cannot be transmitted from the Guru to the Shishya. It is like lighting a lamp with another lit flame. Suppose you are given a picture of a fire. With that you cannot light a flame. What we get from the book is like the picture of a fire. It is not the lived knowledge. The teacher's purpose is to light the flame in us, flame in the disciple, so that the disciple, by his sadhana, he makes the flame ablaze, and more it brightens up. Finally, the disciple is able to light the flame to the next generation of the disciple. That is how the knowledge proceeds from one generation to the other generation. So this prayer is actually to put our mindset in harmony with the transmission, communication of the knowledge. So we are praying, may we too be protected, may we too be nourished. Nourished means our all body, mind, intelligence, everything should be nourished well by sattva guna. The sattva guna helps us to retain the knowledge. So sattva guna has to be fed to our body through the sattvika food. Sattva guna has to be fed to our mind through sattvika thoughts, sattvika interactions, sattvika reading. Sattva guna has to be fed to our intelligence by sattvika analysis, as we do in the Shastras, the analyzing the Shastras without egoistic motive, analyzing with humility and trying to understand, inquire. All these are contributing to the sattva guna of the intelligence, so that our personality undergoes a sattvika transformation. Without a sattvika transformation, we will not be able to retain the knowledge. One is to receive the knowledge. If we are humble, we will be able to receive the knowledge, but it will not remain with us. The moment we go into the world, it will again be lost. So to retain the knowledge, we have to undergo this sattvika transformation of our being. That is the sadhana. Particularly in knowledge sadhana, that is the only sadhana. To completely undergo a transformation of our personality. So this nourishment is extremely important. May we too be nourished, means nourishment through food, gross food, through thoughts and ideals for the mind, through analysis, sattvika analysis for the buddhi, and also emotion, by liberal thoughts, by loving thoughts, we make our buddhi also. Saha naavavatu, saha bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai. Whatever we do, may we do with courage. Now courage means it is not the external courage that we have lot of power in hand, lot of property in hand. It's not that. Courage comes from within. In Kenopanishad it is said, Atmana vindate viryam. The real virya, it comes from within, from our Atma, from our inmost self. So when we are anchored in our inmost self, when we are in association with our pure identity, our real identity, then automatically we become courageous to do whatever is righteous, whatever is the truth. That courage is extremely important. This truth is not meant for fearful people, weak people, for the weaklings. The Upanishads tell us very clearly that it is not meant for the weaklings. Nayamatma balahinena labhyo. He says, Ayamatma balahinena na labhyaha. By a weakling it cannot be attained. When we are anchored in our soul, then that gives us the greatest courage. Sahaviryam karavavahai. But whatever we are doing, may we do with courage. That means we do remaining anchored in our soul. Sahanavavatu, sahanu bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Whatever we are studying, may it become tejasvi, brilliant. Now what we are studying, we may intellectually grab it and start speaking about it, discussing about it, but it will not become tejasvi unless we live it. This is a knowledge to be lived. This is a subjective knowledge. Every bit of it has to be lived by us. So if you are not living the knowledge, it will never be tejasvi. So when we are praying, tejasvi now adhitamastu, whatever we study, may it become tejasvi. We are praying and we should be sincere in our prayer that may we live the knowledge, whatever we are studying. Tejasvi now adhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. May there not be any intolerance between us. May there not be any hatred between us. Yes, it can happen because this is a sadhana where the Guru has to correct the Shishya every step, and our ego will prevent us from doing it, from accepting it. The disciple's ego, the whole sadhana is to dissolve the ego, dissolve our possessiveness. So without correction from the teacher, correction from the Guru, we cannot proceed in this path. But at the same time, it is extremely difficult to get rid of our ego, get rid of our possessiveness. For a renunciate sadhaka also, it is extremely difficult. Most of the cases, people are not able to live with the Guru because of this, because they are not ready to dissolve their ego beyond a certain limit. So they better practice their sadhana, whatever they think about the sadhana, away from the Guru. But the real sadhana can be done only in the association of the Guru. And there, the dissolution of ego and possessiveness are the main things. So, one has to correct, transform, listening to the Guru. In the process, hatred might be generated, intolerance might be generated. Even the Guru may become intolerant about the Shishya because of so many defects in the part of the Shishya. The prayer says that Guru also should not be intolerant about the Shishya. The Shishya is supposed to be imperfect, immature. So the Guru has to accept all the defects of the Shishya to bring him up. So that is why this special statement, Ma Vidvishavahi, is coming. I have discussed this in the beginning of the Upanishad in lot more detail. Just summary I now told you. Now this Kathopanishad, it starts with a story, and this story part is very important in this Kathopanishad. It is considered to be one of the very fundamental Upanishad. Actually, we take it up as the first Upanishad to be studied. Generally in our ashram, we always start with Kathopanishad. Because this knowledge is, although it appears to be knowing about the Atma and who am I, all that, but truly speaking, it is a personality transformation process. So in Kathopanishad, through the story, the Rishi has described it very well through the character of Nachiketa, that what a sadhana means. So in our prior discussion in Jamshedpur, we had given in great detail how each step of Nachiketa's behavior, Nachiketa's reactions to the situations, how it can be related to the sadhana, our spiritual sadhana, which is essential for becoming fit for knowledge. In all the Shastras, there is something called Adhikara Tattva. Adhikara means fitness. That somebody is fit for a certain kind of a sadhana. For knowledge sadhana, the fitness comes through sadhana chatushtaya. It's a fourfold qualities or fourfold pursuits which makes one fit for absorbing the knowledge, living the knowledge. In fact, if these fourfold qualities, if they are there in ample measure, then the knowledge does not need much effort to be absorbed. And that is very clearly told in Kathopanishad. The story goes like this, that Vajashravas Muni was doing a huge yajna, which is a ritualistic ceremony of the karma kanda of the Vedas. Karma kanda of the Vedas means where the rituals are noted. The Vedas are divided into two, karma kanda and jnana kanda. Those who are not fit for jnana kanda, they will do only karmas, they will do the rituals for the perfection of their personality. Once they develop enough of sadhana chatushtaya, they are supposed to take to the knowledge pursuit. This is the principle. Now, the Upanishad, in very brief statements, it shows that Nachiketa's father, Vajashravas, was not fit for knowledge. Why? Because he was not even performing the rituals with in a proper manner, the way the Vedas have suggested it. And why was he flouting the Vedas in performing the yaga? Because of his greed, because of his possessiveness. So it is not so much to do with the performance of the yaga, but to show that how he was not a pure-minded person. That at the end of the yaga, one has to give everything he has. The dana is so much important in all the rituals that a king should become a pauper after the yaga by distributing all wealth. This is the principle. But in Vajashravas, after performing the yaga, he was giving to his priest who performed the yaga for him, to them also, he was giving only useless cows, which will never yield anymore, never calve anymore, which have got some defective limbs, etc. Now, the Kathopanishad presents Vajashrava's son, Nachiketa, who was only 7 years old, a young son. Seeing the father doing all these things, gifting things in the wrong manner, the Kathopanishad says, shraddha dawned in his mind. But this shraddha did not dawn in his father's mind. Shraddha means what? In Vedanta, the shraddha means Shastreshu Guru Vakyeshu Bhakti Shraddha Nigadyate. That is having a full faith, giving supreme importance to what the Shastras are saying, the scriptures are saying, and what the teacher is saying. Giving the supreme importance to that. All other things will be in secondary position. But they will do everything to follow the Guru's instructions or the scriptural instructions. That is called Shraddha. So the Kathopanishad says that Shraddha dawned in Nachiketa's mind. That Shraddha did not dawn in his father's mind, who was old, who had done so many rituals. Nachiketa had not done any rituals at all. But even then, his mind was pure. So Shraddha dawned. He started thinking that what my father is doing is absolutely wrong. It is not approved by any of the Shastras. This is not the way to gift. But what can be done? He understood that instead of this, father was doing this yaga to go to a heaven. Because this heaven, hell, etc., all these are part of the karma kanda, the first portion of the Vedas. To bridle people, to keep them on the auspicious path, all these are designed. I have discussed in great detail earlier. I will not go into the details. So, in fact, the way he is doing, if he does not perform the yaga properly, if he was not gifting properly, then instead of going to heaven, he will go to hell. So Nachiketa understood that this will take him to hell. So how to protect my father? So Nachiketa remembered that Shastras say that gifting one's son is the most difficult gift. If anybody can gift his son, then many other wrong gifts, the papa done, the sinful act of gifting wrong things will be compensated by gifting the son. So he approached his father and said that, Father, to whom are you going to gift me? Now father understood, whenever we do anything wrong, don't think that our inmost self does not understand, because we are in reality we are that universal self, which is one, universal, which has all the good qualities of love, compassion, expansion as its qualities. So whenever we are doing anything wrong, from inmost level there is a voice, inner voice, which is telling us that what you are doing is not right, which makes us feel weak, which makes us feel fearful, makes us feel constricted, small, heavy also. This inner voice, if we listen to the inner voice, more and more we listen to the inner voice, we will find that we are doing everything with courage. As I said, the courage comes from within. By doing everything, we will feel strengthened, following the inner voice. But because of our slavery to the external situation, slavery to the external attraction and repulsion, we are not able to heed the inner voice. This we must understand. Let us not say that the inner voice I don't have. Everybody has, because everybody is the real soul. In reality, he is the universal soul. The inner voice is same for everybody. But some are able to heed the inner voice. Some are not able to heed. Why we are not able to heed? Because our mind is taken away by the attraction and repulsion of the worldly situations, worldly objects. So we are slave to the worldly situation, and being slave, we are not heeding the inner voice. If we can win over the slavery, we will find that the inner voice is becoming louder and louder and louder. Finally, we will not be able to violate it at all. We will do whatever our inner voice says. So Nachiketa's father immediately understood that this boy has caught that I am doing things wrongly, not according to the Vedic injunction. And because of greed and desire and all, what happens in such cases? Because of ego, what happens? The father gets angry. When somebody is correcting, when somebody has understood and he wants to get corrected, the father immediately got angry. So he did not reply. Once, twice, thrice, Nachiketa asked that, Father, whom are you going to give me? Father, whom are you going to give me? And Nachiketa was such a pure, simple boy. The father got so annoyed with him that he finally cursed him that I will give you to Yamaraja, to Mrityave Tvam Dadamiti. I will give you to death, which means almost cursing the boy to death. I will give you to death. Now that boy was so sincere about it, like Rama, as you know, that father's word should become true. The father said, you go to Vanavasa, father had given word. So Rama, in spite of the father saying that you kill me and you sit on the throne, you should not go to the Vanavasa. Even then Rama went. Like that Nachiketa also. He thought that my father has said once that I give you to death. So I must go to death. Now it is a combination of mythology. It's a mythology and the truth. The myth is not so important. It is only given to explain the character of Nachiketa. So how did he go to Yamaraja? Is there any Yamaraja? All that. We need not question that. That is not the purpose of the Shastras. The purpose of the Shastras is to tell the sadhakas, the seekers, that how one should behave. And Nachiketa is the ideal seeker, the model seeker of Kathopanishad. So every behavior of Nachiketa we have to understand. Suppose your father says like that, what will you do? Will you behave like that? We have to introspect. We have to compare with Nachiketa. How could Nachiketa behave like that? Even if he has found out something wrong with the father, how we would react in such cases? And why should we react in such cases? How Nachiketa did not react in that manner, but in a different manner. This will tell us how a seeker should behave in every step. Now the next part of the story is that Nachiketa goes to Yamaraja, and Yamaraja was not there in his palace. 3 days, 3 nights, he waited there without food, without drink. He simply waited there. And then finally when Yamaraja came, all of them felt that there has been great sin done, because a brahmachari boy with such pure-hearted boy had been sitting here for 3 days and 3 nights. Nobody has looked after him. There has been great neglect on the part of the palace, and Yamaraja being the king of his palace, Yamaraja means the lord of death, being the king of his palace, the whole responsibility finally belongs to him. So he has to do something to remove the wrong done to the boy. So he promises that he requests Nachiketa to ask for 3 boons for the 3 days and nights he remained without food and drink. Now the story goes like this, but in each step I have explained that how Nachiketa's behavior proves that he had enough amount of sadhana chatushtaya. What is sadhana chatushtaya? It is Viveka, Vairagya, damaadi, shatka, sampattih, Mumuksha. Viveka means the discrimination between what is permanent and what is impermanent. Or for ordinary people we can say that what will lead them on the auspicious path and what will take us away from the auspicious path. That is the Viveka, the discrimination. Now, if it is a proper discrimination, then it must lead us to Vairagya. Why? Because once we know that this path will lead me away from the auspicious goal, and this path will lead me to the auspicious goal. Thereafter, after analyzing with Viveka, if we understand that, but still follow the inauspicious path, not following the auspicious path, then that Viveka has got no meaning at all. So in English we will call he has great discrimination to understand what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. But In our culture, we will not call it a Viveka. It might be discrimination, but it is not Viveka. We will call it Viveka only when the Viveka leads to the proper selection. When you follow the right path, following Viveka, then only we will call that it is Viveka. If you don't follow the path suggested by Viveka, then we don't call it Viveka. It is only bookish Viveka. It is not a practiced Viveka. Every step of our Shastras, one has to live. Whatever we are studying, we have to live it. That living is most important because it is a science of our own personality, science of our own identity. It is not knowing something about the camera or the recorder or the motor car. It is knowing about our own self and finally to know what is our real, purest, pristine identity. Now, if Viveka is proper, it will lead to Vairagya. Vairagya is grossly misunderstood generally. We think that Vairagya means leaving everything and walking off. It is not so. Vairagya means Viraga, means Raga means color. Viraga means colorless. That means don't apply a color to the world or to yourself. See things as they are. Vairagya, actually in English, it means impersonality and impartiality. We say dispassion, and we misunderstand it. Yes, it is dispassion in a way, but better expression will be impersonality and impartiality. So that we can see the world as the world is, and we can see ourselves also as we are. Suppose we find a defect in ourselves, we should not be trying to cover up the defect and say that no, it is not because of this, not because of that, etc. We should admit that yes, I have the defect, I would like to get rid of the defect, and for that whatever to be done I will do. If you find the defect in another person, we will not hate him, that oh, he is so defective. No. We will find that yes, he has a defect, and with that everybody has some defect or some gunas and some avagunas. So with that they are living. So if at all possible, we will help him to get rid of the defect, but we will never hate him at all. Even the criminal, the worst of the criminal, we will not hate. We will see that they have become like this because of the circumstances. Maybe there are defects, but it has to be removed. If at all we can help them to remove, we will help. Otherwise, we will ignore it. We cannot hate. So, Vairagya means an impersonal vision, seeing the world as it is and seeing ourselves as we are, so that we can do whatever is needed in a certain situation, not guided by our ego, not guided by our preference and prejudice. Now, this Viveka and Vairagya together, if they are cultivated properly, they will lead definitely to sixfold wealth. Now, let us remember in spirituality, the wealth is always the inner wealth. We don't speak about the outer wealth, physical wealth, or fame, money, power, anything at all. All the wealth, the treasure in spirituality is inner treasure, inner wealth. These are the sixfold wealth. So, this sixfold inner treasure, they are called Shama, Damaadi, Shatka, Sampattih. Means Shama, Dama, etc. sixfold treasure. This is the meaning. Shama means a peaceful mind. Let us be very sure that the mind will not be peaceful as long as we preserve hatred and greed. Too much of desire, ambition, fear, which comes from the same, from the desire only, the fear also comes in. Hatred, intolerance, such a mind will never be peaceful. So, Shama, or a peaceful mind, is a great inner treasure. The mind which is free of desire, hatred. We say generally raga-dvesha. Raga-dvesha is the word used in Sanskrit. Raga means clinging to what I like, and dvesha means hating what I dislike. Likes and dislikes always will be there. For a saint, for a knower also, likes and dislikes will be there. Certain food he would like, certain food he will dislike. Certain good people he would like, bad people he may not like. But when it becomes clinging to what he likes and hating what he dislikes, then it becomes raga-dvesha. That is that raga-dvesha have to be eliminated. So shama means a reasonable amount. The more we can get rid of raga dvesha, more we can get rid of greed, hatred, ambition, etc. So much will be the peace of the mind. Now generally you will find dama comes before shama. In Vedanta, dama comes after shama. Because by dama we generally mean the subduing our senses. But here dama does not mean subduing. It means a sublimation of our senses, which automatically happens by shama. When the mind becomes free of desires, free of hatred, then automatically the sense organs become disciplined. It is an inner discipline. It is not subduing the sense organs from outside. Anything that is controlled from outside is not advocated in Vedanta, because it will again come back with redoubled force and it will put you into trouble. So everything in Vedanta is a harmony, is an order, is a discipline from within. What we try in Vedanta is to get anchored to our real soul, our real identity. And the more and more we are anchored there, that is the fundamental harmony of nature. So that harmony spreads, the harmonious tune spreads all over our life, all over our personality, making it sublime, making the personality integrated, pure. That is the Vedantic way of sublimation. So naturally the shama will lead to dama also. The indriyas, the sense organs, will become sublimated, pure. Shama, dama, titiksha. Titiksha means unaffectedness, that whenever something is difficult in the surroundings, the moment we don't get food, we get so annoyed about it, or don't get the proper food, we get so agitated, we lose our self-seatedness. Is it not so? The situation, forget about food. If somebody is speaking abusively to us, we immediately lose our self-seatedness and start return abuses. That means we have lost our temper there. So we are always, this is what we call slave to the surroundings, slave to the objective situation. We are always slave to the objective situation. We lose our self-seatedness. Even if the situation is very attractive, then also we lose our self-seatedness. Being attracted, pulled by the situation, we lose ourselves, we lose our discipline, everything. So whether it is an attractive situation or a repulsive situation, every situation is making us lose our self-seatedness. So we are slave to the objective situation. This slavery has to be overcome. This slavery has to be won over. So titiksha means unaffectedness. Unaffectedness means being master of yourself. That the external situation will not be able to affect you, will not be able to master you. So you will be the master of the external situation. So naturally this shama, dama together will lead to titiksha. See how scientifically it is produced. Everything, it follows a certain order, certain causality here. Shama, dama together will give you titiksha, that you will remain unaffected. It does not mean that you will not do anything to change the situation. But you are not trying to change the situation out of affectedness. Suppose there is something wrong in the society. A knower can take up a movement, very vigorous movement also, to change the society. It does not mean that he does not have titiksha. He is doing it as a necessity, not out of affectedness. But suppose your son has done something wrong and you immediately slap it. Are you doing it as a necessity or getting angry about the situation because it is not matching with your desire? You want your son to behave in a certain manner and he is not behaving in that manner and you don't know how to correct him. Then you start slapping. It is not always for correction of the son. It's not always for the good of the son. But because you cannot control your anger, you are doing. That is the lack of titiksha. That is the slavery we are talking about. But if you have titiksha, you can lead any protest, any change of the situation you can bring in with much more of mastery because you are not affected by it at all. You are not fearful of the situation at all. What does it mean to you? Are you able to understand? So, shama, dama, titiksha. Then comes uparati. Rati means reveling in something, enjoying deeply something means rati. Uparati, generally our rati is always in the world. We are always trying to enjoy food, enjoy situations, enjoy people's company, etc. So our mind is always given looking for rati outside, reveling outside. Uparati means who no longer longs for reveling in outer things, external things, objective situations. Upa means withdrawn from the outer enjoyment. How will it happen? It will not happen until we find out the joy within. We have to discover the real joy, the source of the joy within. That is Atmarati. We call it Atmarati. A person, when he becomes Atmarati, then only he develops the real Uparati. Otherwise, if you remain away from all the enjoyments of the world, it is again an outer control. Bhagavad Gita says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. That if you keep away from the objects, vishayas, from the objects of enjoyment, etc. Suppose you stay in a cave. There no mobile, no TV, no motor car, no food, nothing is coming to bother you. So the mind will become sort of peaceful because nothing is attracting you or repelling you. You remain alone there. As long as you are remaining alone, away from the society, away from the pulls and pushes of society, you may become quiet there. But the rasa will not go. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. A person who is not having any input, ahara means not only food, all kinds of inputs we are taking, they are all aharas. Input through the ears, input through the eyes. So if you are keeping away from all inputs, then the vishayas will always naturally be away from you. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. For them the vishayas will keep away. But rasavarjam. Rasavarjam means accept the rasa for this. That means the taste for the vishayas will linger in your mind. It will not go. The moment you come back to the society again, you will be in the same soup. So that is not a permanent solution. Now, if the rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate, that taste for the vishayas will go when you see the Supreme. That means when you discover the source of joy within, then you will no more look for the outside. Because you understand that the outside is only an occasion, secondary thing, which sometimes gives you joy, sometimes gives you suffering. But the real source of joy is within. So, truly speaking, uparati means atmarati. When we find the joy in atma, in our own self, joy within, then automatically we become uparati. We withdraw from the outside, reveling in outside. He will interact with everything. He will normally enjoy good food, good stay, everything. If he is put on the road also, good food is not there, that also he will be happy about. But there won't be any clinging to anything at all. There won't be any rati outside. The rati will be within in the Atma. Shama, dama, titiksha, uparati. Then comes shraddha. Such late. But in Nachiketa's case, in the third verse itself, they are saying that seeing the father misbehaving, shraddha avivesha. Nachiketa's mind, shraddha dawned in Nachiketa's mind. Why shraddha is given at the end? Because when you discover the real joy within and you find that the outer things are not at all anything which are giving you the real joy, then automatically you develop a supreme faith in Guru-Vakya and Shastra-Vakya. What are the Shastras saying? And what the teacher said, you understand that yes, that is the only truth. That is what we should look for. So, Shraddha means an unswerving faith in whatever the Shastras have declared, whatever the Guru has declared. I always say that we call God Supreme, but we give Him the last position in life. Is it not so? Even those who take initiation also, the practice given by the teacher, that is given the last position. After all the marriages, all the friend circles, all other plus, minus, everything is over. If you have time, you will sit for that practice. That means it is given the last position. It is not given the supreme position. Only when we discover that the truth within, that the real joy is within, and we withdraw from outside, the uparati comes, then comes the real shraddha, that we give the supreme position in life. The supreme is given the supreme position in life. And that automatically leads to samadhana. Shraddha, uparati, shraddha, samadhana. Samadhana means fixity of the buddhi on the truth. When you give the supreme position, automatically your intelligence will be fixed on that. Your mind will no longer vacillate, no longer swerve from the truth. So all the troubles you are facing now, that I am not able to meditate, when I sit for meditation, all kinds of thoughts come in. All those problems are gone. Your mind, you don't have to meditate. Automatically the meditation will dawn in you, because the buddhi is given to the supreme thing. Whatever we give supreme value, our buddhi, our mind remains associated with that. If we give money the supreme value, throughout the day our mind will be money-minded. If you give fame the supreme value, then throughout the day the mind will be given to fame. Whatever we give supreme value, the mind will run after that. So shraddha means actually the way we evaluate. That is what we are giving the supreme value. Bhagavad Gita says, Shraddha mayoyam purushaha yo yat shraddha saeva saha. A man is nothing but an embodiment of shraddha. That is, we may outside look different, all are different. We may have different kinds of clothing also. We may look different. Everything is different. But truly speaking, inside of us is made of shraddha. A man is an embodiment of shraddha. Whatever he values in life, he becomes that. So when the shraddha is given to the supreme truth, ultimate truth, naturally the mind remains fixed on that. That is called samadhana. These are the sixfold treasure for a spiritual seeker. All are inner. There is nothing to do with the outer. So they are the shama, damaadi, shatka, sampattih, the sixfold inner treasure. Now all these three, that is Viveka, Vairagya and the sixfold treasure, all these three together will lead us to the real Mumuksha. Mumuksha means the yearning for liberation. Liberation does not mean that I will not get born again here, there, etc. It is not so. The birth and death are causality. So here, getting born, getting death, it is taking place every moment in us. If we are bound to the objective universe, always we are undergoing the causal chain there. And the corresponding constrictions, they catch hold of our mind. When we try to get rid of all the constrictions we are suffering from, that we no longer want to remain the limited, selfish being that we are. We want to get rid of it and become my real self, the universal one, transcendental self. We long for it, we yearn for it. The moment any impurity, any desire, any smallness, any constriction comes, any ego comes, immediately the whole being will work to get rid of it. That is called Mumuksha. Mumuksha is an experiential quality in us. It is not that I will not get born again. It's not like that. They are all elementary definitions. Mumuksha also should become an experience for us. That every moment, that yearning to become universal, yearning to become pure. Seeing anything, a flower, you can drink purity. Seeing some pure person, the pure face, you can drink purity. Because the mind is yearning for purity. It is always getting expanded. It is always looking for purity. It is becoming like the space, or even more than that. That is called Mumukshutva and Mumuksha. These four are called Sadhana Chatushtaya. So, shloka after shloka we have shown how this Nachiketa is displaying all this Sadhana Chatushtaya in ample measure. Such a small young boy, 7-year-old. How pure is his mind, how he is behaving. He has gone to meet the Yamaraja. Yamaraja is not there. He is simply sitting there, waiting for Yamaraja. He did not go out for food. He did not look for anybody to give him some drink or food. He did not blame anybody, the palace people, that I am sitting here, nobody is asking me for food. If you come to the ashram also, if nobody sees you sitting on the steps, will you not start feeling bad about what are these people? They don't know how to invite a guest. Start blaming people. But Nachiketa simply sits there. He has not blamed anybody of the palace that nobody called me in. Nobody gave me a little bit of water also. What kind of Raja he is, this Yamaraja? He was simply sitting. And when Yamaraja came also, he did not react to anything. Yamaraja told him that, please accept 3 boons. He did not ask for any boon. He doesn't want boon also. But Yamaraja said that I have done a great sin by keeping you like this. Please, to relieve me of the sin, please accept 3 boons from me. And what are the boons he is asking? The first boon is, may my father become all right. He is always given to anger. Let him be free of anger. See? Coming to Yamaraja also, what boon he is asking? The father who has cursed him to death, he is asking that the father should be relieved of the anger, because he still feels softly about. These are the qualities. If somebody misbehaves with you, immediately we return misbehave double that amount. But what our mind should worry about is why the person is speaking like this today. Why is he abusing? Has anything happened to him? Let me find out what has gone wrong, if I can help him. This is the real universal mind which Nachiketa has. So we have to analyze each behavior and understand where a sadhaka stands. That is the real aspect of Kathopanishad, which is not available in any other Upanishads like this. Every behavior of Nachiketa has to be understood. Now, in the second boon also, he asked for something in the ritualistic level, with which people can get rid of various wants they have. It is not for him, he wanted for the world. Only in the third boon, he wanted something for himself. What is that? He wanted some knowledge. What is it? He has come to Yamaraja. So Yamaraja is the lord of death. He should know best about death. What happens when people die? So there comes this third question of Nachiketa is the basis of Kathopanishad. And in this Upanishad, there are only 2 questions. That one, this first question, and then later on, the last question of Nachiketa, after which Yamaraja starts his discourse. The first question is, I would like all of you to learn it by heart also. So it is 1.20. 1.1.20. Those who have book, you can see. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham. Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham. Varanamesha varastritiyah. Varanamesha varastritiyah. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham. Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham. Varanamesha varastritiyah. Varanamesha varastritiyah. He says that this is my third boon. Out of the 3 boons, this is the last and the third one. What is that? Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushya. When the body falls, there is lot of doubt amongst the people. Asti iti eke, asti iti eke, na ayam asti iti cha eke. Asti iti eke, na ayam asti iti cha eke. Some say that there is something still remaining after the body falls. That is, the Atma remains, goes beyond. And some people say that no, there is nothing. It all ends with the body falling. Asti iti na ayam asti iti chaike. Na ayam asti iti chaike. Etad vidyam anushishtas tvayaham. I would like to know the truth of it by remaining under your tutelage. This is my third boon. Now, this last sentence is very important. You will again analyze Nachiketa's character. He could have asked that some say that there is nothing, some say that there is something. I would like to know which is true. That is, he is expecting Yamaraja to say that yes or no, and he will go back with the answer. He is not so. He knew that to know the truth of it is not just a saying yes or no. What remains, whether we can call it something remaining or not, or nothing is remaining, that truth has to be learned by remaining under a tutelage. That means by following the discipline given by. Anushishtaha means, shishta has come from shasana, that is the discipline given by the teacher. And anushishta means following that discipline, that I am ready to follow the discipline given by you to know the truth of it. It shows that his depth, his maturity in asking the question. Now, after he asked that question, naturally Yamaraja started dissuading him, saying that about this, even the devas of the heaven, they don't know about it. You are a small boy, why are you asking this? You take this, you take that. Various things he started offering. And Nachiketa remains fixed to his question, saying he is not interested in anything else. This is the fixity of the buddhi, that he considered that that is the only thing in life to be known. So he is not interested, he cannot be dissuaded by giving anything in life. And Yamaraja tries his best. Finally, he initially offered him the emperorship of a great kingdom of the whole world, etc., and a life which is as many years as he would like to live, and with an able body he can enjoy. All these things he gave. But Nachiketa refused everything. Then finally he started bringing things which are not available in the world. Some chariots, damsels, dancers, singers, musicians from the heaven, saying that anybody on earth has not got it. Nachiketa, you have them, you enjoy them and live your life. But don't ask me this question, that what happens when the body falls. But Nachiketa finally replies in a beautiful verse. Again, I feel like summarizing a little. I cannot just simply skip. This goes on, this testing of Nachiketa by offering him various things. That goes on quite some time, and finally Nachiketa passes the test. Then only Yamaraja gives him the final reply. See, it comes in the 1.1.26. This verse also, if you can master it, is a great verse, but it is not from Yamaraja, it is from the student, from Nachiketa. He says, Shvobhava-matyasya yadanta-kaitat sarven. Acha, you would like to chant? Take it. Shvobhava-matyasya yadanta-kaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jeevitamalpameva tavaiva bahastava nritya gite shvobhava-matyasya yadanta-kaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jeevitamalpameva tavaiva bahastava nritya gite. Each word here has to be understood in depth. Shvaha abhavaha. Shvah means tomorrow. This ashwatha tree is called ashwatha, means which will not be there tomorrow. It is the longest living tree. It lives much more than 1,000 years or so. But that is given the name Ashvatha, that means which may not live even tomorrow, to show the futility of anything in the world in the objective level. Nothing is permanent here. Even the Ashvatha tree, which lives for so many generations, human generations, that also is not permanent. So, Shva means tomorrow. Shvaha abhava means which will not be there tomorrow. Matyasya yadanta kaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. O Yamaraja, whatever you are giving me, whatever you are bringing to me, everything is futile. It may not remain tomorrow. So nothing is permanent that you have offered, be it an emperorship of the whole world or the palace and the kingdom and the throne, nothing. Not only that, sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. If I do more and more bhoga, more and more enjoyment with all the sense objects you have given, they only will deplete the senses. The more we enjoy with the sense organs, they only deplete the senses. You know that we become tired in the night. Throughout the day, we enjoy. Enjoy means both, suffer and enjoy both. With the senses, it goes on throughout the day. Finally, suppose you don't come back into the lap of your soul, which happens when you are in deep sleep. The whole world is washed away. In deep sleep, you don't come to know even your own body, even on your own personality. You forget the whole world, including your own body, mind, personality. That is the time your soul, you are resting in the lap of the soul. And that is how you are again getting recharged, so that next day again you can carry on with the sense enjoyments and sufferings. That is how we carry on every day, not knowing the greatness of a few hours in the lap of the soul. Without that, we would not have been able to enjoy this life at all. But we never think back that what would happen if we can always remain in that lap. How beautiful would be. How will the world interactions be, that we will interact with the world, but never depleting the power inside. The senses will get depleted in that case also. Without sleep for a knowledge knower also, he cannot carry on. But he will not get tired inward by interacting with the world, because he does not have clinging and hatred, raga dvesha. So he said that sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. If you give more and more of things of enjoyment, they will only deplete the senses of their power. And O Yamaraja, you have given me life, which is 100 years, 1,000 years, etc. you said. But know that api sarvam jivitam alpameva. This alpa means not small. Alpa means insufficient, not sufficient. That whatever lifespan you have given, for everybody the lifespan is insufficient. Be it 1,000 years, 100 years, 50 years, anything. Why? Because the person is not ready to die. Suppose your life has been sufficient at the age of 100, you would not fear death at all. You would like to live at that time, happily, fulfilled, you should live. But nobody becomes like that. Everybody wants to enjoy still more, still more. That means whatever lifespan has been given, that is insufficient for everybody. He means that the lifespan becomes sufficient not by the number of years lived, not by the span. Suppose one lives 50 years or 150 years. That span of 150 years not make his life sufficient. He will be sufficient provided he is free of the desires. If person like Nachiketa at 7 years, he became free of all the desires, his lifespan was already sufficient. Now again compare with that. That is how he could walk to the death. When father said that I will give you to death, he walked to the death without any problem. He was not having fear of death or anything. He could straight away go to the death. This is the reason that mythology has been created. The mythical story is explaining great truth here. That for him even 7 years is sufficient. In 7 years he was not attached to his life. He was ready to take Either live or die, whatever comes. That will be a seeker's role, a seeker's way. That he will not try to extend his life, but he will live as long as it is allotted by nature, as long as he is living. There is no such greatness in death. Life and death, they are following throughout. There cannot be life without death. There cannot be death without life. The two together make the whole world complete. In fact, everywhere this world is run by causality. Everywhere the cause dies and the effect is born. Is it not so? When the cause dies, the effect is born. When the effect is there, the cause is no longer found. So the birth and death together make the whole causal world. Everywhere it is there. What is great about it? Our life also undergoes that. So he says that it is not the Yamaraja, the lifespan will not make one's life sufficient. So any number of lifespan you might have allotted me, it is not going to make me fulfilled. I will become fulfilled when my insufficiency is gone. I want to know who am I, that I will remain after death or not, and what is that I am talking about. If that is given, then the life becomes sufficient. That is, the desirelessness makes the life sufficient. Api sarvam jeevitam alpameva tavaiva vahas tava nritya gite. So Yamaraja, Nachiketa is not interested in the chariots and the musicians and dance users he have brought. Let all these vahanas, the chariots and other things belong to you, Yamaraja. You revel in them. Nachiketa is not interested in them. Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo, the next verse. That means the man can never be satisfied by any amount of external wealth, any amount of external treasure. Vitta means power, anything, wealth. He cannot be satisfied by that. Now, when he came out with just this statement, naturally, Yamaraja could not deny him anymore. So he started instructing him about the path where he has discussed about Shreyas and Preyas. That Shreyas and Preyas, the Shreyas means which is ultimate auspicious goal in life, and Preyas is which is immediately pleasurable. So a seeker of truth will always examine the world and always opt for what will take him to Shreyas. He will not be guided by the Preyas. Prayers might be immediately pleasurable, but later on it will take us away from the auspicious goal. The peace and ultimate fulfillment lies in Shreyas. In fact, this knowledge is called Nishreyas, the ultimate Shreyas. So, this chapter, the next chapter goes on instructing about Shreyas and Preyas. After that, he says you go to 1.2.12, 13. 1.2.13, 1.2.13. Etat shrutva samparigrihyamatyaha prabrihya dharmyam anumetamapya samodate modaniyam hilabdva vivritam sadmanachiketa sammanye etat shrutva samparigrihyamatyaha pravrihya dharmyam anumetamapya samodate modaniyam hilabdva vivritam sadmanachiketa sammanye. So the last line says that, O Nachiketa, I feel that the Brahma sadhana is wide open before you. You simply walk in. That is the certificate given. In the previous verse, he said that more and more disciple like you, O Nachiketa, may more and more disciple like you come to us. Because what the Guru wants, A guru who has realized the truth, what will he want? He will want only to pass on the knowledge to others so that they also become fulfilled, they also become happy. He will not have any other abhisandhi. Abhisandhi means any other motive at all. He wants others also to become like him. That is the great difference with the Guru. He will not look for any return from anywhere at all. The greatest Guru Dakshina is Dakshina Jnana Sandeshaha. Whatever we receive from the Guru, he makes the disciple fit for passing it over to the others. And when he can do it, that is the greatest Dakshina given to the Guru. That is the knowledge which has been transferred from the Guru to the Shishya. The Guru wants Shishya to transfer the knowledge to the next generation. That is the only thing he does. So he says that, Nachiketa, may more and more disciples like you come to us. Already he has proved that he had enough of all the sadhana chatushtaya. So he says the Brahma Sadhana, that it's a figurative expression, is wide open before you. You simply walk in. That is, when the truth is told, you will be immediately able to grasp and actualize, realize and live the truth, because you already have the qualities which the truth represents. It is not actually a causal order. As the qualities grow, you become more and more like the self. It is a wrong impression that qualities we will have, then we will read this, we will have this knowledge, then one fine morning we will find that I have become self-realized. It is not so. As you walk towards CIRD, is not every step is bringing you closer to CIRT? So it is like that. The more and more the qualities of the self you accrue, the more and more your personality is adorned by the qualities of the self. Expansion, love, unaffectedness, compassion, universality, transcendence. You become more and more like the soul. Our mind becomes more and more like the soul. We approach the soul. So naturally, enough of sadhana chatushtaya actually means realization. So he says that it is only to be told what is the truth, and you will be able to actualize it. The Brahma Sadhana is wide open before you. What has to be done? In brief, he has explained the whole sadhana also. Etat shrutva. The first is, whatever the truth, it has to be listened to. See, in exclusive jnana nishtha or jnana sadhana, the sadhana is only one. Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. It is called Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. They don't do any worship at all. They don't do any yaga yajna at all. Even the usual meditative sitting also is not there. For him only listen to the truth first. When Shravana actually means listen to the truth from a knower, because then only the truth will sink with its proper power. Otherwise it will be a bookish knowledge. That is not really Shravana. It can be listening to, reading everything, but it has to be lived. So Shravana is listening to the truth from a knower. Then Manana means when we have listened to the truth with humility, we accept it. Yes, this is the truth, but I still have doubt, because teacher, you are saying that soul is unaffected, but I always feel that I in me is getting affected. It is suffering, it is enjoying, it is always changing. I don't find my I to be permanent. Then how can I accept that the I is unaffected? It is universal. I find my I is different from the other's I. I have not known an I which will be universal, which is not distinguished by the body-mind personality. So what is the real meaning then of this transcendental soul? He would inquire with his intelligence. He is supposed to do it to the last drop till he becomes doubtless. This manana will take him to a level where he will become doubtless that yes, what my Guru said, what the scripture said, that is the truth, that is the ultimate, and that this is what it means. When he is certain about it, when he is completely convinced about it, the manana part is over. His intelligence will no longer bring in any other argument, any other inquiry, taking his mind here and there. He will automatically start contemplating on the truth, because that is what he has known to be the supreme. So it starts slowly getting fused into the truth. That is what is called nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means eka tattva ghanabhyasa. Eka tattva, the truth is one only. It is appearing as the variegated universe with infinite variety. It is appearing to be, but the truth is only one transcendental consciousness. It is not limited by the body-mind personality. It is not fragmented by the body-mind personality. When he gets fixed to that, that thought alone remains in his mind and intelligence. That is called nididhyasana. That eka tattva ghana abhyasa. That ghana means there is no break in it. Normally 5 minutes we are thinking of the truth, and rest of the time we are thinking of the world, which is fragmented. Or maybe 2 hours we are reading and thinking about the unfragmented truth, the universal truth, and 22 hours we are with the fragmented world. So nididhyasana is a continuous flow when the mind is fixed, one-pointed on the truth. It is called taila dharavat. As we pour oil, it flows without getting split into the droplets. That is the taila dharavat. That mind flows like that. So that is called nididhyasana. And the pinnacle of nididhyasana is what we call jnana samadhi or nirvikalpa samadhi. When you get fused, merge into the real truth, your own real identity, from where you don't have to lose that identity at all. You get anchored to your real self. Whether you remain interactive in the world or remain meditating, after that time you will find that there is no need for meditation at all, because you don't find anything other than the truth in the world also. So this is the process Yamaraja here mentioned very briefly in few words. Etat shrutva, that means hearing about the truth. Samparigrihya. Parigrihya means by understanding it from all sides, grasping it from all sides. Samparigrihya means samyak parigrihya. That means very well understanding from all aspects. That's no further doubt at all. This I have understood, but when I am doing this, I have this doubt. Oh, that day I understood, but when I read this Bhagavad Gita, this shloka, I have this doubt. No further anything like that. Samyak parigrihya, that manana part is over. So the first is Shavana, etat shrutva. Samparigrihya means very well grasped by the intelligence. That means manana. Then martyaha. See, this Upanishad always will call us as martyaha, mortal, to remind us that you are mortal. Until you know your real identity, the immortal identity, we are mortals. So they will not call us Manushya, they will call Matyaha. In Kathopanishad particularly you find Matya. Yamaraja is every time saying that you are Matya, you are under my clutch. He is also egoistic. So you are under my clutch, reminding them that you are under my rule. Pravrihya. Pravrihya means as we separate the kernel from the husk. Am I correct? That the धान्य उसका जो ऊपर का कवर होता है उससे अंदर का जो चावल निकाल लेते हैं. In grass also, if you take out the pith from the upper covering, that is called pravrihya. Pravrihya means that separating out, distinguishing one from the other. That means distinguishing our real identity, our consciousness, our soul from the body, mind, emotion, personality complex. That is the cover. That is the husk. From there you have to take out the kernel. Now in this case the kernel is not limited like the rice kernel or anything, that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. When you reach the kernel, you find that is all pervading everywhere. It is not a separated kernel at all. It is the husk, association with the husk, which is giving it a look of separation. Are you able to understand? So pravrihya means this process of segregating the real from the unreal, which Viveka does. The first quality, Viveka's role is to do that. Pravrihya, dharmyam. They are referring to the soul, the truth, as dharmyam. That the fundamental harmony in life. Actually, we don't have to know it from the book or from this or that, oh, this is soul, this is this. What we have to do, there is a natural harmony in nature. And one day we find that you have suddenly become in tune with the fundamental rhythm of nature. In tune with infinity, we say. in tune with the infinite. So that is the dharma. Dharma actually in our country, dharma does not mean religion at all. Dharma is the law of sustenance, which does dharana, which sustains the universe, which sustains the society, which sustains our life, which sustains everything. That is called dharma. That sustenance, ultimate sustenance is the whole universe is appearing on consciousness. That consciousness is the sustainer. The whole universe only an appearance on the consciousness. So the real dharma is the consciousness, which is our real identity. It is like a musician who has learned various ragas, various tunes, various ornamentation. He goes on singing, but he is never satisfied. One day suddenly he plays only one tune, maybe Saha alone, and he finds that, Arey, what has happened? Where from this sound is coming? He has discovered something within, from where the source of music, the source of sound, the source of everything, the silence within, from where the single shruti is coming out. And he gets completely merged in that. He does not need any raga, any ornament, tana, nothing. Just he only sings one swara and he gets merged in it, he flows in it. It is like that. When we discover that oneness in us, we get merged in it. We become one with that. It is the discovering that harmony, that fundamental rhythm of life, the fundamental rhythm of nature, and remaining in tune with it in our interactive life also. How beautifully Jamaraj has explained the whole sadhana here. Pravihya dharmyam anumetam apya. He getting this anu means this subtle tune, extremely subtle, anu, extremely subtle. Getting that, attaining that truth, that being in tune with the infinite. What happens? Samodate modaniyam hi labdha. He rejoices by getting what? Modaniyam, the cause of all joy he discovers there. He doesn't have to get joy from outside by gaining this, gaining that, eating this, eating that, or doing this, doing that at all. The joy, the source of joy is within. Samodate, he remains joyous by knowing the source of joy, by getting the source of joy. Modaniyam hi labdha. So this is the whole process. This is the palace of Brahma Vidya. Oh Nachiketa, I believe that the Brahma sadhana is wide open before you. You simply walk in. After this, after he said that, then Nachiketa puts forward his second question, which is extremely erudite question. I will deal with it tomorrow. I cannot simply skip, although I have done it. I think for the viewers of TV also it will be a repetition, because they will see it after 3-4 months. These things have to be repeated every day, what to speak of after 3-4 months. So I don't think I should do some injustice by just going over to the next portion. Some of the shlokas I have to explain. So maybe next day also I will do it to some extent. We will chant the Shanti Mantra and stop. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.